showing what you're selling from behind the scenes, from what it looks like working with you, what actually really means to work with you. New year, beautiful people. How are we doing? So I am so excited. I am recording an episode of the Be Brand podcast. Today, I kind of want to talk about the return on investment and how to plan for a personal branding shoot that actually makes you money. Because I think there is so much myth around what is the return on investment, but then also how to truly plan a photo shoot that will truly make you money, that you're not just getting photos. So why I believe this is important is because there is people that are investing on personal branding photos, but they're not necessarily seeing the actual return on investment. So I had the idea of recording this podcast. I did a VIP weekend recently with a client, and we did a whole audit of her website, her social media, all of it. And this is the thing. She had professional photos and they were very, very pretty. But this is the thing. They were not telling her brand story. They were not showcasing her authority, and they were not positioning her. She's a consultant and she's a leadership coach. And when I saw her photos, I was like, okay, these photos are pretty, but they're not showing your expertise. They're not showing how you can actually help your high-level clients, right? So I came with the idea of really creating a podcast episode that helps you understand how to truly plan for a photo shoot, not just from a photography standpoint of view, but from a strategic point of view. So actually the photography makes you money. So let's get started. Let's face it. Prepping for a personal branding shoot, you have to come up with clothing. It takes time, it takes money, and you're investing in a photographer, right? So I want to make sure that you're getting not only the photos, but the ROI on the time that you are actually putting into this process. So I want you to think right now of a few brands that you absolutely love. I'm going to give you a few examples of these. Some of the ones that I actually came up with are that I love when it comes to photography are, for example, Coca-Cola. When you see their billboards and when you see their photos and stuff like that, it's all about like groups having fun and living life. Now, another one that I actually love is Patagonia. If you've never seen their social media, their photos are all about storytelling. Now, why this is so important is because as brands, we are telling a story. We're telling a story of how people will feel after they work with us. We're telling the story of what it is working with us. We're telling the story so our clients can see themselves on the picture. There is a saying on marketing that says, you sell what you show. And I want you to actually think about this concept, because are you showing what you sell? 99% of the people that listen to my podcast, they're service providers. I'm a service provider. So I want you to actually think for a second what that means. Are you showing what you're selling from behind the scenes, from what it looks like working with you, what actually really means to work with you? What is the promise on the other side? You know that I'm huge on strategy, and I kind of want to break this down for you because I think that so many people are still confused with this. A lot of people think that their branding is their logo or their colors or their photos or their website. Well, this is actually the representation of your brand strategy. So I want you to understand that like you can create all this strategy and you have to create all this strategy on paper, but then is when you go into brand implementation. And what that means is you showing the world what it looks like to work with you, what it feels like to work with you, what's on the other side. So let's start breaking this down. And I want you to start thinking about these brands that you absolutely love. I gave you some example, Coca-Cola and Patagonia. The other one that I actually want you to go check out that I love, and these are all product-based, and I'm going to give you a few examples right now of personal brands, but Red Bull. If you go into their Instagram feed, there is not one can of Red Bull in their whole feed. That is actually a strategy that they implemented a few years ago. Now, why? Is because their whole feeling of what they're showing you is images of people doing incredible things and all these sports that they sponsor because Red Bull gives you wings. Now, I'm not a Red Bull drinker, but I actually absolutely love looking at their feed because literally it's showing boldness and the crazy things that people are doing. Now, do you understand how this is starting to translate their motto, their branding, their feelings into their photography? Now, I want you to think of some personalities that you actually love. So some of my favorite that I always follow and I love really looking at what they're doing. Number one is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah is like the epitome of a personal brand and has built an empire under who she is, her message, and all the things that makes her her, from her struggle with weight loss to her soulful Sundays and her spiritual journey to her telling the story of like when she first started, how she knocked doors and she got a no, like her interviews, but it's all under her. Now, while there is a place to photos with your phone, I want you to think of the client that you want to attract. We know that selling and building your brand is all about trust. It's all about know, like, and trust. Personal branding photography is there to bridge the gap, especially if you are trying to sell higher ticket, to charge more, to maybe you're a realtor and you want to go luxury, whatever it is where you're at, if you want to attract a high level client that is ready to pay you not only what your services are worth, but you want to elevate. Well, photography is the number one tool that you have to do that you can use right away. I have a few things in here that I want you to think of when it comes to you planning for this photo shoot. So number one is actually picking your photographer. So I know that a lot of you are not here in Las Vegas to maybe come shoot with me. I actually have a ton of clients that travel to Vegas to come shoot with me or do VIP weekends. But this is the thing. You have to ask questions. One of the biggest mistakes that I see with people is they hire either their family photographer to do personal branding photography. And this is a huge mistake. Because guys, I was a portrait photographer. I used to photograph families. But the thing is, preparing for a personal branding shoot is completely different. This has nothing to do with just pretty photos. So I'm going to break down to you the process that we use in order to help our clients prepare for the photo shoots, because this is something that it's part of your strategy. And I'm going to actually give you an extra tip on once you have those photos, those base photos that you need for your brand, what to do next. So number one, you need a body of work that entails who you are, what you do, how you make your client feel, and that your client is going to feel attracted to it. Now, you do not need to do what your competitors are doing. Like I see a lot of like branding coaches and stuff like that. They have a very editorial look. That's not me. That is not the people I work with. A lot of my clients are service providers, and my personality is really lively, and a lot of the people that I attract are very similar. So for me, editorial look doesn't necessarily make sense for my brand. For me, it's all about lifestyle. So I want you to think about the things in advance once you start looking for your photographer. So number one, when you're looking for this person, This person needs to be an expert at personal branding or product photography if you are a product person, but they need to be an expert. So number two, once you found this person that is an expert, I want you to look at their work. Do you like their work? So for example, for me, if you come and ask me for photos with a black background, right, and black and white, that is not me. That is not my style. That is not what I show on my website. That is not the kind of work that I put out. So for me, everything is about bright and airy and lively and colorful. While I can do and pull some editorial looks, and I have done that in the past, for me, it's all about lifestyle. So I want you to think, and I want you to start looking at the photographers, like their work. Does it match what you want to create? So that's number one. Number two, you want to ask questions. And you want to ask questions as of, hey, is there a planning session? Hey, is there different locations? Is this happens all in studio? Because, for example, for me, a lot of the things that I do, shooting in a studio don't make sense, okay? Because we do lifestyle. So a lot of the times we want to be in the environment of where our clients are truly working. Are they working at an office? Are they working from home? Are they working from coffee shops? What it looks like, right? So you want to make sure that the photographer that you pick is an expert and that it match your vision for the photo shoot. So we have a process that we use with our clients that this is what it showcases, and this is what you should be demanding or should be looking for. A lot of photographers will only look into your colors. They will look into, okay, where you're going to use your photos. Do you need horizontal? Do you need vertical? But they will not talk with you about your brand story. And your brand story is concise of your processes. It's also made out of your personality. What does it look like working with you? Who are you? Are people drawn to working with you as opposed to somebody else? Start thinking about all the things as you are looking for creating these $1 million images for your personal brand, okay? The other one is tools of the trade. What do you use to work? What are the things? So for me, actually, I brought it here. For me is my camera. For me is my phone, my tripod, my microphone. When I am working with clients and we do VIPs, like I bring my huge stickies and we put them on the wall. So all those things are tools of the trade, are things that I am using to give my clients results. What are the things that you're using to give your clients results? Those are the tools of the trade. The other thing to think of is the location. And this is one of the things that I believe I do so different than other personal branding photographers. For me, the location needs to tell the story. Because your brand story, who you are, how you bring that into your business is key to separate you from your competitors, is what makes you memorable. Yes, some photos are beautiful, captured in just a backdrop, but the thing is, they don't capture who you are. They don't capture the essence of what you do. So let's start breaking this down for you. So under your process, I want you to think about this. What does it look working with you from beginning to end? Do you do a call? Are you on your computer? Are you teaching in person? Do you want to speak? This is one of the things that a lot of people don't think about. When I told you, you want to show what you want to sell, are you trying to get in new rooms where you want to speak? Well, maybe you need to do part of your photo shoot is showcasing that you're a speaker, even if you haven't done this yet. With this particular client, she came to Vegas for her VIP. We did a lot of photos of her doing video. We did a lot of photos of her working with a group because her main offer is corporate training. We did a lot of photos with her in a conference room teaching, because truth is that is where she's going and she needs to show that so people can realize what is exactly what it is that she is selling. Now, when it also comes to your processes, maybe you are meeting with people in person. Maybe you're not. What do you want to showcase? This is going to be so helpful when you're describing this on social media, on your email marketing, on your website, when you're talking about why is different and better to work with you. We talked about the personality. So I want you to think face to camera photos. Why? Because your face is what bridges the trust with your people. Your face is what is truly showing who you are. So many people have these feeds on Instagram and LinkedIn everywhere with no photos of yourself, which is crazy to me. Think about your marketing materials. How are you going to stand out on the competition if you are not showing who you are? So when it comes to personality, I want you to think of feelings. What do you want your person to actually feel when they see your photos? Lifestyle for your client. What do they want to feel? I'm going to give you an example. I have a client of mine who she does photos quarterly, and she's a real estate investor. And a lot of what she shows is the books that she's reading. She's also showing the things, the houses, like she's showing, we have photos that we have done with her with like blueprints. Why? Because it's so important that people can see why investing with her is a process, is a journey. Okay, so I want you to really start thinking, what does your client need to see in order to feel like you are the right person for them? So that first photo shoot, if you've never done a photo shoot before, that first photo shoot should be unique to you. It should have your colors, your personality, your processes, your tools of the trade, all of that. However, once you did that photo shoot and you have that banner for your website, you have your main photos, after that, the next step is having new and fresh photos to create content. Because I want you to think about this. How many of you are procrastinating to create content or to show up on social media just because you're like, I need to get ready, I don't have photos, I don't have videos? When you actually have a body of work, what it starts to happen is that you can sit down and write a post and you can be looking like crap and it doesn't matter, right? Because you can batch your content on a Saturday morning on your pajamas and then you can have a beautiful feed without even trying. Now, one of the things that I have tested this, and I actually made some notes on this, I have done many photo shoots in my career, in my life, and some of these photos are beautiful. But once you start using them over and over and over, especially on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that, people get numb to the same body of work. So that is why we actually have our membership where people get photos quarterly, because you want to have different change of clothes, different locations, different stories that you are telling through your content, so you can use them as real covers and carousels and all of that. Because the truth is that in a digital world, even if you have a brick and mortar business, people are picking you through the visuals that they are seeing on social media, on Google, on your website, and all of that. Now, on your website, you can have this first body of work that is unique to you, and you don't need to be changing those photos all the time. However, on social media, LinkedIn, your marketing materials, if you're doing workshops and master classes, all of that, you need photos for every single one of them. I can see such a difference on engagement when we do new photos and people are always commenting on that. Oh my God, I love these photos. I love this set. And a lot of my photos are professional. It's not like they are different from what I did before. We're just like changing clothing, different hair, different colors, different settings. So I wanted to keep this in mind, because I think that a lot of people don't realize, and they're very active on social media, but one of the reasons why when I audit people, when they tell me, hey, I'm getting zero engagement, one of the first things that I see is their photography is not professional and their photography does not translate truly what their brand is, who they are, and what they do. So I hope this was helpful. As always, you can find me on Instagram. We are running a special on our Presence membership. We have people, obviously, local to Las Vegas. We have people that come from California and Utah and Arizona. So don't be shy. Send me a message on Instagram. Come take a look at how we are using personal branding photography to elevate people's brands. And let me know if you have any questions. I love to help you get set up, to help you with getting true personal branding photography that is going to truly elevate your brand and actually make you money. Let's move away from just pretty photos and let's start stepping into your best self as the face of your brand. Thank you, guys.